What's good, guys? Alpha the Wizard here with Justin Singh from Rempengu Nation. What did you do?
I just went to the Detroit regional yesterday, so Saturday, and I got top 8 with Spright Melffy. It's pretty cool
Hey,
deck. Yeah. So you guys might have seen like the deck kind of in action on Grinder's channel. So I was like, I wanted to play it at the regional to like share that it was good and like why it was good, and it performed like pretty well. I lost round 1 to Pendulums because I opened like my cards for tier because like the main's made to be tier. Then you just normal Bambuku. And then game 2 I like shifted and like did my full combo. But I didn't end on like a spell and trap nigga and then he even leaves me.
no,
So that's how I lose round 1. And then I tied
Very
with
nice, bro.
a tier guy. And then everything else the deck like did what it did.
nice. Hey, sounds good, man. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and dive in.
Yeah. So I played the 3 blue, 3 jet, 1 carrot, 1 red. I thought Pixies was just so unnecessary because you can OTK with Obimaru, Cat Shark, Gigantic, and also I play Wind Up Kitten for a specific reason. So I just felt like I never was in a situation where I was gonna get to go Elf, Revive, Blue, Search, Pixies, because 99% of the time your blue would just get Beast Shield. So it's like there's no point to play that back card in my deck. So that's all for the Spright monsters in the main deck. I side another red, and I'll go over why when I get to the side. Then the normal ratio, 3 Beaver, 2 Angler. Like Austin was right in the video, you just only need 2. It's just kind of weird sometimes when they make you like like it makes your sprint like worse, but yeah, objectively you only need 2. So those make sense. Then the Melffy card is the funnest part about the deck. So it's just only 1 Melffy caddy because it's searchable from Melffy of the Forest. It's 1 Melffy penny. This is the whole reason why it works. So you can search for caddy and then special during your end phase, and then on their turn they summon any monster. It bounces back to your hand and you search penny. Now, people are under the misconception that penny has to just only happen when the card is bounced, but that's not the case. It just needs a card to have been bounced that turn. So at any point in the turn, you can react and quick synchro a penny. So it's like being able to hop air for free. So I could then hop air for free and either make Arclight, which is just like an FTK against Terror in response to like Rhino Heart or something. And so because they're just banishing everything they sent from deck to grave, the monsters. Or I can make Merry Melffys, which is a compulse for a monster when you summon it. So it's like, it has good utility. The biggest appeal though of playing these cards, like while yes you commit 3 extra deck cards instead of 1 for Toad because you need the 2 Synchros and the Joyous, you get to play Dimension Shifter because the entire combo does not care about Shifter. Also, your caddy does not care about the Medora and Keldo because it's coming from your hand, and then Penny's coming from your hand. So if you play against Tier and they Havanus you, and let's say it goes through and they mill a shuffle back, with Toad you can't like set it up because they'll just change shuffle back under Toad unless you set it up really weird with red, and then you have to burn your red negate. But with these you don't have to do that. And then the final beast I played for the caddy, if I already have Penny or whatever, was Wind Up Kitten. I was boring a friend. Shout out to Anthony Aquaterra for lending me his first edition ulti one for the regional. It was very nice to use.
Beautiful card.
Yes. And then yeah, this is just what's in the main deck that substitutes out for the swamp crabs. So now that's pretty much it for the level 2s, but now let's get into like the real spicy part of the deck. So obviously I said you can do the whole combo under Shifter, which means we're gonna main 3-dimension Shifter. And it's been like the whole reason and the appeal of playing this deck is you get to play Shifter. So this is how you just beat Tier, and then like other Graveyard like Reliant decks too. So this is gonna look weird, everybody's gonna think I'm crazy, but I played Veiler Imperm. So you're gonna think, okay Justin, why would you play Veiler with Shifter? That just makes no sense. Well, so the matchup I'm shiftering is gonna be Tier, and I'm always gonna do it in response to one of their cards. I'm never gonna shotgun it because I want to get value off of it as an actual hand trap in terms of card value. Because if I use it in response like a Shiren, they commit the Shiren and they lose a card in their hand, so then Shifter becomes a +1 stalling them. Or if they Havanus in response to my like blue effect, I can then go chain Shifter instead of just dropping it immediately. So now the hands where I go second, game 1, and I open this, I wait to see what my opponent does. If they go normal Rabina, I'm gonna obviously use Veiler. If they go like the other way around, you just use Shifter. So yeah, And then Valor is just like a better hand trap against Tier. So if I didn't open Shifter, I would rather have Valor over Ashe in that instance, which is the entire reason why I still play Valor over Ashe in the main. And then yeah, so these 6 are really good against Tier because you don't have to commit a Beast Shield to their first summon. All these 6 can interact directly on kick Kalos, which is nice. So then you can open one of these with 2 Beast Shields and you completely stop them. Then also these cards are really good against Flunder. So that was another really huge appeal of them, and they're also really good against Spright. So I just think these were the best hand traps to play, obviously with the exception of Gamma. But Gamma's like going second reliant usually, that you can possibly play in the deck. So that's why I did those. And then the other 9 makes sense because it's Tier format. We just played the 9 Beast Shields to like counter Tier. It just makes sense. They're also big bodies in the mirror to like break through everything. And then the Tier, like the whole Beast Shield engine comes out against Flunder post side. Then the rest of the cards make sense. It's the 3 starter, 1 smashers, 1 pot of prosperity. I'll explain why when I get to the side deck. And then 1 double cross. This is what you search instead of smashers when you shifter on your first turn. So that way you can protect your guys. So yeah, 40 cards in the main deck. Wouldn't have it anymore.
Love to see it.
Yeah. So extra deck is 2 elf. The only reason why 2 is because of space. You only need 2 because your board is so resilient that they can never clear everything. So there were 2 cards in the 2 conventional Spright cards you cut are Sky Cavalry and the 3rd elf, because you have those 2 extra deck spots because you play Toad. But because I play the 2 Synchros and the Joyous, I can't do that. So I had to cut an elf in the Sky Cav. The other card obviously is like Phoenix or so. So it's Sprint for the combo. Dark makes sense because Magnamint. The Codebreaker is either Codebreaker or Phoenix. Obviously you gotta play Codebreaker to deal with Baguska when you shifted them. That's kind of just what you do. So those are all the links I think you need. I don't think you need more. So it's either like those and then plus the 3rd elf obviously if you have room, but you don't. So now XYZs, which is the most crucial part of the deck. 2 Gigantic always comes up. Joyous, the whole reason why the deck works, because it's a generic rank 2 and that grabs your caddy and everything works under shifter. Then you do 1 Vision Buster. He's typically on your end board a lot of the times because you usually just end with like caddy, him, and elf, and that plays around super poly. So that's why he's like really good. Onibimaru, this card's insane. Lets you do the game shots with Cat Shark and Gigantic. So it comes up with Wind Up Kitten. You're able to clear 2 monsters and go for game because you can summon Kitten, bounce 1, Onibimaru the other one, then Cat Shark with the Gigantic with Oni's game. And then the last 2 you have to play obviously are Down and Zeus. Like I said, no Sky Cow because no space. Because we play our win con against Terror, which is Herald, and then for everything else you usually make Mary. So that's it for the extra. Kind of already explained what like Mary does. And then for the side, this is where everything gets like really cool. So I have a certain number of cards for going first, but I'll go over the cards I have for going second. So I did 3 Lightning Storm and 2 Ash. These are the only like go second cards I side. Is because I mean so many go second cards. I don't need to side that many because it's not compromising my deck list. So the reason why I made my deck so low ceiling in the main deck is because there's a 50% chance I don't get to go first game 1. So I thought, I was like, okay, why don't I make my deck as resilient to going second if I lose the die roll, but still has its ceiling if you go first. So now you're kind of like lowering your ceiling but increasing your win rate going second to make a good balance for game 1 because you don't know if you're going to win the die roll. So now you just like figure out the remainder of cards that you want to do for your go second options, because this is so low impact against Tier and this is unplayable against Tier, which is why you just don't play these. So against Flunder and Spright you side these in, Ash goes in against Flunder and Spright and like all those other decks. But yeah, and then then you have a better win rate against those decks. But for going first now, this is where it's nice. Objectively, Fenrir is the best card because it works going first and second against everything that Beast Shields don't hit. So we're always playing this card because of that. And it's also just like a free body and like everything with this card is like objectively like one of the best Yu-Gi-Oh cards. The only confliction obviously is with the Beast Shields, which is why you can't main it. I do a second red. This is for Rogue and also for when I specifically go first against Tier. This can protect you from Hoviness, and then you're able to do your combos a lot more a lot better, because then you can get carried off your starter to protect your gigantic from impromptu side if you already hard open red. Red is just bad to have, so generically you don't ever want to see multiple red in your main deck, but when you go first, it's way better. Now, again, like I said, I compromise some consistency in my deck in order to make it able to fit 2 more hand traps. So I cut 2 prosperity from my main deck because I wanted the extra 2 cards when I couldn't go second. The deck was consistent enough, like I ran a lot of math on it, to where I didn't need the other 2 because of beavers and the Spright engine already naturally working together. So sure, like you may brick like a few percentage more because you don't play the 2 pot in the main, but I would rather sacrifice those and see those cards as a hand trap to increase my win rate going second, which is why I cited that.
Your theory is amazing, by the way.
Yeah, it's like that's like how you're supposed to kind of balance it out. And then,
because most people would just main like 3 pots and just call it a day.
right, so they would main 3 pots and then side the 2
something.
more hand traps. But the problem with that is that game 3, you're most likely going to lose because they're going to have some broken trap card for you. So having the hand traps are usually not enough. So game 1 is the most important game in Yu-Gi-Oh! So you need to make your deck able to function to win game 1 the most.
It's just in theory.
Yeah. And the reason why I truly believe that is because if you ever get hit by this card, you're never winning the game. Doesn't matter what they do.
In the world.
So yes, post side, when I go first, I Featherstorm my opponent usually. That's why the 2 pots are in here as well, because they help me dig for the Featherstorm, for the Fenrir, or for the starter.
You're a modern day Einstein.
So basically, yeah, I'm trying to basically make it to where the deck then is able to see the unfair cards or be more consistent for when I go first, because when I'm going first, I have more control of the game. So then these 10 cards are just like the best going first. And it's really easy to side because then these 12 just take out the 9 beast shields and the shifters, and then these 12 are good against Flunder going first, as you can see. Because against Flunder, Featherstorm also just like shuts them out. The reason why this card is the most unfair card is because every deck can do this, and people don't do it. So you can do this in Tier if you just make Castel. You can do this in Spright. I played the Baby Rock because I didn't have access to a Unibird, but Unibird is the best Wing Beast target for the deck. I just couldn't get one, so I just played Baby Rock instead. I actually just like, this single-handedly beat a Tier player for me. His hand was like evenly Instant Fusion Planet, whatever he could have broken my normal board, but because I have Featherstorm, he just couldn't play at all. And then this is also broken against Spright, Flunder, any deck in the game. So every other card is situationally good. So for instance, a Beast Shield deck like Sanctum is only situationally good. Versus like Flunder, Dimensional Barrier is only situationally good. But Featherstorm will always be good. So
they can't play.
They literally can't play the game. And the 2 cards that dealt with this card are now banned. So Mystic Mine is banned, and Red Reboot is banned. So neither of those, there's no way to like beat this card anymore. So that's why again I made my deck this way, because I need a way to make sure I can more consistently win game 1. Because if I don't and somebody does this to me, I just lose the match. So yeah, that's the whole reason of why the deck's built like that and the pots are sided. It's just like, this card is just, there's no way to consistently beat it. People are gonna be like, oh, you could just Zombie World them. But yeah, that's only against Flunder. You Zombie World my Spright deck, I'm just killing you the next turn. I don't care, and I'll just chain Featherstorm to Zombie World with Baby Rock. That's another reason why this deck's cool, because I don't care about Zombie World. But yes, that's it for the deck. Shout outs to my locals at +1. Shout out to Brett for lending me most of the Spright cards. Shout out to Devin for getting me a blue and then some more of the Spright cards I needed. Shout out to Michael No for lending me his Fenrirs, and then shout out to Anthony, like I already did, for lending me the Wind Up Kitten. I'll be doing a combo video on my channel of like what you end on with Shifter in your hand, basically with just Starter, or just like what the deck does in general and why it's so good. It's because you're able to play this big ceiling of a Spright deck now with Shifter not conflicting with your deck at all. Because Toad would conflict with Shifter, was the whole idea behind this deck.
Yeah, no, definitely makes a lot of sense, and it sounds like you strategically put this together, so
yeah,
basically just synergizing the whole deck. But
yep,
yeah, man, I really enjoyed seeing the profile because the theory was interesting. But any last words before we end?
No, that'll be pretty much it. I'll try to do more content now because I have a drive to do, because it's kind of cool just to create and play new decks in a format where everybody just thinks tier is just the best deck. But I like that I'm able to play this deck as well and be able to keep up with that deck.
In a tier 0 format.
Yeah, I don't truly believe that the format anymore is tier 0. I think it's like tier 0.5, because I think tier is just like, it's really strong, but the Beast Shield cards are such good cards printed for it, and so is Shifter, that other decks do have a chance.
Absolutely.
With Orange Light at 1, it's way less accurate now, but
I can definitely agree with that. But yeah, combo vid coming up soon.
Yeah.
And with all that being said, we'll see you in the next one.